Hi Zoe, okay, here's a problem that you asked for. Y equals the square root of x plus 3 minus, or plus 3 minus 2, right? If we're going to graph this, we're just doing a transformation of f of x equals the square root of x. It's just a square root function. This looks like this. It's literally just starting here from the origin and going to the right, okay? Using the transformation, your transformation here is that you're going to be going to the left 3. Why are you going to the left 3? Because if you want 0 here, it's just going to be 0. That's why this is at 0. You know, x equals 0. Okay? But how do you get to 0 from here? You would have to go to the left 3. Get it? You have to go to the left 3. Because if you put negative 3 in there, plus 3 is going to get you back to 0. That should be the point where it starts to open up, right? I started doing this here, but then I put it down here because it's neater. Okay? If you want to do the xy thing, I mean, you can, but remember, you're going to be going to the left 3. So start from 3, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1. Here, I'm not doing all of them because if you did, like, for example, negative 1, you're going to get a square root in there. That would give you the square root of 2 minus 2. You don't want that. So if I put in negative 3, I'm just going to get the square root of negative 3 plus 3, which is 0. Square root of 0, which is 0. So you'd have 0 minus 2, which is negative 2. This would give you the xy point, negative 3, negative 2. That's where we're starting here at negative 3, negative 2. If you can go to the next one, negative 2, because negative 2 plus 3 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. And then this, and then 1 minus 2 is negative 1. That would be the point negative 2, negative 1, negative 2, negative 1. You can keep going. You could put negative 1 in here. Negative 1 in here. But that's going to end up giving you the square root of 2 minus 2, which is fine, but you'd have a square root. You put 0 in there, you're going to end up with the square root of 3 minus 2, which is fine, but that's going to be a decimal, okay? I'm trying to give you good points here. If you put 1 in there, okay, you put 1 in there, 1 plus 3 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. That would be the xy point. Oh, I need to put it in. That would be the xy point, 1, 0. 1, 0. Okay? So here 1, here 1, 0. Then just connect them. This should be a little more curvy, but mine doesn't look like that. Okay? So the domain. You can get the domain just from looking at this. Okay? It's always easy to get to the domain from if it's already graphed. You don't have any x's to the left of negative 3. Your x's start at negative 3 and then going on after that. Remember, arrows go to infinity. For x, that means all the way to the right. If you're talking about for the range, this arrow tells you all the way up to infinity. Okay? So anyway, your domain is going to be from here, negative 3, onward to infinity. Onward to infinity, which should be negative 3, comma, infinity. If you're talking about your range, this is your smallest y. You don't have any y's below negative 2. So this is going to start at negative 2 and then up to infinity. Remember, arrows go to infinity. Okay, so negative 2, comma, infinity. There's your domain and your range, okay? Now, you said inverse. If you want to find your inverse, there's always exactly 4 steps, okay? The first step, if you have f of x, which you do here, you're just going to write y. So here I'm going to say, okay, y equals the square root of x plus 3 minus 2. Second step, you're just going to swap your x and y. So instead of y equals, it's going to be x equals, and this will be the square root of y plus 3 minus 2. Step 3, this is your longer step. You're just going to solve for your y. I'm trying to get the y by itself. So here, I got to get the square root by itself because you're going to have to square to get to this. So add 2 to both sides. This will give you x plus 2 equals the square root of y plus 3. Now you have to square both sides so you can get rid of the square root. So this is just x plus 2 squared, quantity squared, equals. Over here, you squared this, so it's just y plus 3. I'm trying to get that y by itself. So subtract 3 on both sides. Square root of x plus 2 quantity squared minus 3 equals y. Bam! You got your y. So last step. Instead of writing the y, you're going to write f inverse of x. This is f inverse. It's f, and that looks like an exponent of negative 1, but it's just a notation. So I'm going to say f inverse of x equals x plus 2 quantity squared minus 3. Bam. That's it. If you have any more questions, let me know. Love you. Bye.